Alright guys, welcome to part 3 of how to do a WordPress installation. What's going on is our very first video was, basically encapsulating how to do your very first WordPress install to your website. The second video, which was a much longer video, gave you a very in-depth look on how it looks to do posts, how to do links, the logic behind things, the hidden features that you need to dig into to try to go get. This one is going to be our part 3, which is going to be a much simpler website instructional guide kind of thing. What we're going to do is streamline your website. So all those people out there, when you listen to the first 2 videos, I tell you about, hey, there's all these different ways of you streamlining the site, getting things done without having to work so hard. Well, here are the top 5 plugins that I think every website should have. So let's go ahead and dig into my top 5. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move down to the plugins area. Now, as I said in the first video, I really do not like this jetpack thing, so we're just going to go ahead and deactivate that. Now, the first plugin, and as you can see, once you hit the deactivate button, it just goes away. The first plugin that I would say that you're going to need is going to be this Akimit, or Askismit. I don't know, I keep pronouncing it wrong, so forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But before we get into that, I want to explain a little bit about activate and deactivate. Activate is normally in this color here. It's normally a lighter color, while the deactivate is a darker color, depending on your theme, but your default theme, which is what we have right now, is what it looks like. So let's say you have this theme and you go, okay, we gotta deactivate something. You just go ahead and click that deactivate button and it deactivates it. Now, a lot of people ask me, should I delete it? It's up to you. To me, when I install something and it doesn't work, or it causes errors on my page, I normally just delete it. The only time I leave something deactivated is, let's say I'm trying out a plugin for a while to see how effective it is compared to other plugins. Then I'll probably deactivate it just so I can turn it back on later if I find it not to be as helpful. So with that being said, the very first one I really like is this one here. Now, the way this works is it protects you from spam. And one of the things that you end up running into as a website owner is that WordPress is very secure. It's very secure because it has a lot of plugins that can help make it secure. But by default, people can spam your WordPress blog like there's no tomorrow. I mean, I have had several WordPress blogs where I just threw them up. I really didn't update it too much. But every day I would get hit with 30, 40, 50 emails a day saying, hey, this guy wants to post a comment on your blog, and it's buy gold now. And then the comment is basically, hey, I sell and buy, sell gold, so how about you come to me and make some money? And the thing is, people are basically, it's called backlinking, because what they're doing is that they're actually going into your website, only making a comment not of any substance towards what you wrote. They're only making a comment of their own products, so that when you do a Google search for them, their products will show up on multiple web pages instead of just on their one web page. I think it's dirty. There's programs out there that do it. It's been going on for ages. This one little app is the great equalizer. So if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to pull up my other website that actually has the plugin done. The reason why I want to show you the way the plugin looks after it's done is because I want you to see real stats of how it actually works. So hold on 1 second, I'm going to pull up the other web page. Alright, now here you go. This is how much spam it knocks out on a monthly basis. Okay, so that's 1,912 spam messages, 4,000, 5,000. Kind of peters off here only because of the fact that I'm using a different system to doing my comments now, so don't worry about it just yet. We're going to get into that to another video, which are all-star plugins. Basically, they're plugins that basically take over some of the functionality that's built into WordPress to make it even better. But for the time being, these comments system that you have right now on WordPress excellent. And I'll show you a little bit more down here. It tells you what the spam was detected, ham, missing spam, missed spam, and then false positives. And missed spam is something that made it past the spam filter, and then you had to tell them it was spam. And then a false positive is something that they flagged as spam, and then you told it it's not spam. Essentially, it's basically in the comments area. So if you give me 1 second, I'm going to go ahead and open the comments here. And here are all the comments you have from My Morning Joe, and you have all these lovely comments that come in on a daily basis. And what these comments do is that they're over here, and I can actually flag it as being spam, trash it, I can unapprove, or I can make a quick reply to it and reply back to the person. So hold on, we're going to go back to the demo page. Alright, so here we are back on the demo page. Now, one thing I can say, when you do finally get legitimate comments, make sure to reply back to them. The reason behind it is that for every person that leaves a comment onto your page, it lets them know that you are alive, that your website is actually working. I can't tell you how many times people have written comments onto one of my web pages, and then when I respond back, I get a reply back from like, oh, hey, I didn't know this was a real site. You know, I was just making a comment because I liked what I read, but I didn't know anybody was like monitoring the site. So it helps them feel like the site's actually being owned by somebody. You look at all the big websites, when they get so big they don't reply back to their comments because they have people that do so many comments that they really, feel as if everything's going, like everything's moving around. Well, if you're one of those websites where you only get maybe 2 comments a week, nobody's going to get the feeling that your site's really alive. Well, so you're going to have to keep commenting back. But anyways, the way it works is, because I can't go through this step by step for you because I need to set up so much different things, so it's going to be a lot easier if I just walk it through, is that step 1 is that you're going to go ahead and click this activate button. Alright, it's going to come back, now you're activated. You're going to click on this link to get the API key. It's essentially just going to ask for your email address. You're going to want the free account. And after you give them your email address, it's going to have a little area that asks for the API key, and you get it, and you come back to the website. After you come back to the website, you're going to click on this configuration page. On the configuration page, you just drop the key in here, hit the update options, and it's installed and ready to go. Now, if you do not configure it, what happens is this. Let's go back to... I'm going to add new because we're going to have to move into that area anyways. On the top of your page is going to tell you that it's almost ready, but you must get that API key for it to work. It's a very simple process, guys. Normally I would like to show you every single step if I thought it was difficult, but this is a very simple process. So like I said, go to the website. You're going to sign up for the free service. It's going to have a little thing there. It's going to say, do you want your API key? Because they realize there's thousands of people a day that come there for that free key. You just grab it from them, come back to your page, drop it on the page I just showed you, and you're good to go. But let's move on to our very first All-Star plugin. Let's move into our very first plugin. So, first thing we're going to do is load this one. It's my absolute favorite. WP Auto Tagger. And we're going to do a search for the plugin. Now, let's do a little backstepping here. In order to get to where I got to, you want to go to Plugins, Add New. It's going to bring you here. And then you're going to type in WP Auto Tagger. WP Auto Tagger. So basically WordPress Auto Tagger. And hit search for plugin. Once you do the search for plugin, there's the guy right there. Turn it on, and you hit install now, and you hit OK. And you activate it. Okay, once you activate it, it is on. So let's show you what that actually does. I'm going to add a new post. Actually, there's no need to add a new post. I'll show you how to do it because I know most of you guys will probably have a couple posts done already, and then you're like, oh no, how do I tag my things? I forgot to tag it. Because remember, I told you, don't tag anything yet. So here it is, post tags. There's nothing, right? So if I go down here, hit the update button. The auto tagger normally runs through it and it populates a tag. Obviously, I do not have enough data. But as you can see, right here it says auto tag on save. So it suggests tags for you and puts it in there. So let's try another one. Just as a reminder, this post here is a little bit too small. If I wanted to get a tag, I could probably just add some more information. Comcast is coming to a Braves game near you. There we go. See, I end up putting in a little extra information here, and it then read it. So if you only have, I doubt anybody's going to have just one sentence for a post, but if you have like some information in the post or whatever, and as soon as you click that update button, it's going to reread it and then give you your tags. So your tags are down here. It's Braves, Comcast, Game, Java Dave. The way this thing works is that now when you go to the page, if you view post, depending on how the page is set up, you're going to have your little tags here: Braves, Comcast, Game, Java Dave, and then, by admin, which is me. So if I go to Braves, it's going to pull up from a tag archive everything that had the word Braves in it. So if I had multiple pages with Braves on it, and like I said in the last video, we have Java Dave, Java John, right? So this says Java Dave in it because it noticed the strike through. So if I do Java Dave and I click on it, it would give me every post that I wrote and mentioned Java Dave, not anything that's in the category of Java Dave. Basically, a tag is basically a subcategory within a category or within the grouping of blog posts. So you're one of the things you're really going to enjoy from this little plugin is the fact that you can type whatever you want, and once you hit that save button, all your tags are written for you. So let's go back to here, because this is a real life scenario where you're going to run into it and you're going to have no tags for a lot of your stuff. Now, like I said before, this is a very short post, so I love Subarus. It might not even register, but let's check it out. If you update, there you go. Love and Subaru. 2 words it pulled out from just this short 3-word post. And all you do is hit update. And then once you hit update, you can go back to the very top here to go all posts. And once you go to all posts, there it is, Love and Subaru. So it's a really nifty little tool. So if you have like hundreds and hundreds of articles that you have to retag, I say get this tool. You just have to go into each one of those articles. You can't do the quick one. You have to actually go edit and actually edit it and update. Just to tell you a quick story about me is that I actually had found it like 400 pages into doing my blog, and I had to go back and redo each one of them, but it was so worth it. I just saw a spike of hits because basically once people are done reading the article, it has all those tags at the bottom and they can click on that tag and that tag will take them somewhere else. So I say, just play around with it a little bit. Now, this is something that comes default depending on which WordPress installation you do. If not, you may want to do a search for WordPress Super Cache or WP Super Cache. It's an alright app. What Super Cache does is that it helps your web host more than you. What it does is that it caches your website on the person's browser, so that when they go to your website, it's not pulling a lot of data. My website, before I started hitting over 1 million hits a month, I used to get phone calls from my actual web provider saying, you guys are taking up a lot of bandwidth. So I basically just activated this little guy here, and he's like, hey, the activation of that app worked for us. It's really taken down a lot of that bandwidth. Thanks a lot, and we moved on with our lives. But I would say right here, the WP Super Cache, I suggest anybody out there who actually wants to, have a popular website, you want to have that installed. So let's go back to doing another one. Add new. And we're going to do WP Real-Time Sitemap. Only one there, makes it easy, right? Click install, click the OK button. It's going to install, and you want to click the activate button right here. Once you activate it, you're going to have it on right there on your list. Let's see, you should be able to click here. If you click that little settings guide, it's going to give you all these extra options. And you're going to have the real-time sitemap. So the real-time sitemap is just basically going to generate a sitemap for you It's not really necessary for you per se, but as you move on into the future, you're going to want this application. So the way this works is that it creates a sitemap as you design your website. It's pretty cool because what happens is that if you want people to come to your web page and be able to see a listing of everything that's on your web page, like back in the day when you had links and everything on old websites and you had a sitemap, and sitemaps were mostly made so that website search engines can read text instead of trying to read through your HTML code. It also was made for the hearing impaired so that you can actually click on it and the text was actually readable so that the machine could read back the text. Because you have text within images, it couldn't read it back to people who are visually impaired. I know it sounds weird if there's an impaired person on the internet, but still, if you want to know the history, that's the history. Anyway, but to use the sitemap, it's very simple. You just want to do add new page, and then from the top you call it sitemap if you want, sitemap. And then you want to click here, make it HTML, because we're going to drop a tag in here. And the only thing it is bracket WP realtime sitemap space show equals not parentheses, but quote all close quote close bracket. It's pretty simple. What it basically is doing is that when people go to the sitemap, it then, with this area here where it says WP realtime sitemap, it actually then calls that application to come online and generate a sitemap live. I don't know if it's going to actually work in this particular case because the site is so small, but we are about to test it out, boys and girls. So I went ahead and made the page by just clicking the little button over here. Once it's created, we can click this little guy here, click view page, and there it is. It says sitemap. The pages I have is the sample page and the sitemap page. My posts are Hello World, Subaru Power, It's Comcastic. My archives, I have 2 in August, 1 in July, and all my categories, which is only 1. And then it tells you, like, well, this is generated by me. So it kind of works. If you have a small website, it's really cool because it can generate a sitemap very quickly. If you have a very large website, I have a website with over 1,200 posts. It still can generate pretty quick, but it's going to be a very long list. So I would suggest not using this if you plan on having a website with tons of hits. But if you're just getting started, it's perfect because, you know, your viewers are going to want to know how to get around your website anyways. So let's move on to our next one. I'm going to click over here and we're going to click plus sign or the down sign here on the plugins, add new. Next one we're going to do Top Siri tweet button. Alright, very simple. Install, hit OK, click activate plugin just like we do all the other times. When you activate it, you're going to notice that it's going to show up right there. A lot of plugins will show up in the settings area. Either that or it'll show up in its own menu under the settings area. It's very rare they'll show up over here under plugins because you have the plugins and then you have that little configuration guy. But the reason why I bring that to your attention is that many times when I did plugin installations, I didn't know where they went. And I would get so frustrated and pull my hair out because I couldn't figure out where they actually went off to. So what you do is you go under here, the little Topsy guy here, and it's a really cool plugin because it allows you to do retweets on your web page very easily. So this is going to be probably the only thing you're really going to want to configure by default. If you put in your website, or not your website, but your actual Twitter page. So if your Twitter page is like, you know, mommyvista.com or whatever, and your Twitter name is mommyvista, you would type that in here. Or if it's the name of your band, you would type the name of your band's Twitter account here. So for this one, it would be Odin Spark, ODINSPARK, and that's it. There's no more configurations. Everything's pretty much set to the way it is. I can go back and change it whenever I feel like it. Now, one thing before I click the save button, you want to check this one. Enable trackbacks on comments. No need to really configure anything after that. But what happens is that if anybody retweets or makes a comment on one of your actual messages on Twitter, this app is absolutely fabulous, because what it will do is if somebody sees a message on your Twitter feed and they retweet going, "Oh, that was awesome," then what happens is it actually grabs that and makes it a comment to that actual article you wrote. So they, even though they were responding on Twitter, they still made a comment on your website, which is pretty cool. Save. And this is the only plugin I know that can actually do that, which is why I recommend it. And when I save it, let's go over to one of our posts. So we're going to go back to my Comcast post. So now when we go back to the Comcast post, let's see here. We don't, doesn't look like it doesn't like us here. Alright, no worries. I'm going to go ahead and check and see what's going on here. This more than likely is a culprit of this guy, the WP Super Cache, because caching is turned on. Normally if you do like an update, and the update is very quick, it's automatic, and it shows up, the cache will still hold for like maybe 15 minutes. So the only thing you do is click on the WP Super Cache and then click delete cache. After you delete it, it's going to say zero cache, zero cache, zero cache. It should be cleaned out. Now let's see if that was the cause, because that normally causes most of my issues. There it is, just like I said. And it has 0 tweets, and it says retweet here. So basically what it does is that when people go to your webpage, they have the option to retweet it automatically. So even if they don't know you have a Twitter presence, they can still click the retweet button and it will retweet your message for you. If we go to the front page, there it is on the articles, and it allows them to make like a very quick retweet, and I really like it. Going back over to plugins, add new, last one, it's going to be the simple Facebook share. Facebook is spelled with 2 O's actually, so let me just fix that. And you have the simple Facebook share button. Install now, click OK, and activate the plugin. Now, don't feel like, really confused or, out of it, because there's so many plugins. WordPress has so many plugins, it can just really make you feel overwhelmed. Just try them out. Like I said, you just go click on download, activate, just like we've been doing, and see if it does what you need. If not, close it out. Or if you want, you can just follow us on odinspark.com. We review a lot of great plugins. We take suggestions. We're more than happy to test drive it out for any of you guys. And what we'll basically do is that it will give you the ability to have us do the work for you. And if it works out, then you'll get an easy to do tutorial. So I'd do it if I were, but I'm not you. So let's move on. I just did the installation. There it is, simple FB share. And let's see, display this button automatically. You want to set it to yes, and you can check whichever one you want. I particularly like this one here because it's large and in charge, and I want it in the top left-hand quadrant. So I do that, and hit save. Same thing like before. Gotta go down to that super cache, delete it. Cache is deleted, and then we can go back to the page. If we reload the page, there's a share button, there's your retweet button. The reason why I showed you how to do the share button instead of a like button, the reason behind it is that a share button is more powerful than a like button. And here's the reasoning behind it. If you share an actual topic, you're sharing it with the whole world. You're actually sharing it on your page. It comes up with the image that you used on the page. It's going to come up with the text that you wrote on there, and it gives the person a reason to click. If you hit like, it just shows up as, Josh liked a thing about Comcast. Nobody really clicks on that. So I would suggest, if you had to choose between these two, to choose to use the share button more than the like button. Don't worry, we're going to have another video later on about a social media frenzy, how to do all this social media stuff from your webpage. So just hold tight. When we make that video, I'll make sure to post it on the website and let you know what's out there. And we'll get more in depth in this. But essentially, these are the top plugins that I would recommend anybody to load on their WordPress site because they're simple, they're easy, they get the job done. And look, in less than 30 minutes, we were able to install and configure 5 really quick plugins, and on top of that, they were all simple. You didn't see me break a sweat doing anything. So I would suggest, if you have the time, sit down, get it done. I guarantee you can do this in less than 10 minutes. It's just I had to do a lot of the narrations and everything. But in the end, congratulations. You finished the last video of our 3-part series. Tune into odinspark.com for all the updates that we're going to have about the all-star plugins, the Facebook plugins, and our social network plugin extravaganza, things of that nature. And if you have any questions, go to the forum. We'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Till then, this is Odin Spark, signing off.